And we're back. Welcome to the second of the doubleheader on Wednesday. You're listening to the unfiltered, unscripted, 100% authentic podcast. I'm your co-host, Michael. Joining with me is the other half of the air raid attack, Miss Jamie.
Hi
And
guys.
and joining, making their air raid debut is if you guys listen to the show on the Herb and Rodg podcast. I was their first guest, and it was quite a show, nonetheless. Definitely, if you haven't listened to it, I highly suggest you listen to it. And not only that, but follow them and listen to their podcast as well. First things first, Herb and Raj, how are you gentlemen doing on this fine Wednesday evening?
We are. Well, I'm sorry. I'm doing fantastic.
Were you about to speak for both of us? We're off to a bad start. We're just wow.
We're only
we're
9
going
hours
downhill
apart,
quickly.
but I'm just assuming Herb's doing well, just as well as I am. Thank y'all for having us.
Thanks.
Oh, absolutely.
Thanks for coming on, guys.
After your co-host
It's gonna be a great
abusing,
show.
after your co-host abusing us for the past 30 minutes, now we're good to go, Mike. So
Oh,
we're
my God.
Hey, I believe you were warned.
actually we were.
Were we warned?
So when we came on your show, he warned us about you.
Yeah.
And when he came on our show, he was warned about Raj. So there's clearly a hierarchy being established here.
What is there to warn about me, though?
Oh, what isn't there? Like, do we have time?
I don't.
Oh, we got all times.
there was
How much have you
the LeBron watch was told to him before
Oh,
he
yeah,
came
yeah.
on there.
It wasn't that bad when Mike came on, though. I only said it about 4 times.
4 times in the first 20
First
minutes?
5 minutes.
Yeah. I'll be sure to monitor it today, though.
Yes, we're guests now, so we need to
Right,
rein it
right,
in a little bit. Okay.
Make sure what this is where gentlemen, where the what you call the manners our mothers taught us. This is where they come into play.
Yes.
Oh,
Oh,
that does
Uh-oh.
not.
Maybe not.
that does not.
apparently,
bode well.
Mama didn't do a good job.
Oh, I mean,
Oh,
she did
man.
tonight. I'll tell you that much.
No, I'm trying-
It's funny.
Now, first thing first, Herb and Raj, it don't matter who goes first. Of course, tell the listeners out there how a little about yourself. And I guess the question I even failed to ask when I was on your show a few days ago was, how did the podcast come about?
Herb, you want to?
Okay, so basically, it was we love sports. Dad was in the Army, so we moved around a lot. So there wasn't, there's scattered teams that we followed. And then all of a sudden we moved to Tuscaloosa when I was in 12th grade. Raj was in 8th grade.
Yep.
And if you move to Tuscaloosa, you have to be an Alabama fan. So that's kind of where that whole thing started. And then we've always had long conversations on the phone and everything. And it was just finally like, why don't we put this out somewhere and just have a little bit more fun with it? So there's no big, explanation. It was just, hey, we're always talking. We always talk sports. I think both of our wives have complained about our conversations. Like, do you guys talk about anything other than sports? To which the answer is, yeah, we talk about you guys when you're not listening.
Yeah.
But
every once in a while, we'll sprinkle something else in there, but 99.9% of it is sports. So
it's sports, right? So we just said, why don't we just start putting on there? It's in this day and age, it's easier now to put out a podcast or put out some. There's plenty of platforms. So we said, let's do it. It's funny though because it's changed our conversations. Now it's like Roger asked me a question like, "What do you think about the LeBron contract?" And I'll go, "Let's talk about it on air." So now we don't talk about the stuff on the phone like we used to. So it's changing that way. But that's how it came about.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, Herb's pretty accurate with the description there. I'm glad.
Are you just going to say ditto for the rest of the night?
That's it. That's it. I really can't say anything much more different than what you said. But, as us growing up as Army brats, that's why I guess when people ask us who our favorite teams are, our favorite players are, it's not like we weren't born and raised in one place, so we don't stick with one team. I guess we just don't follow one team our whole lives. So we kind of bounced around just depending on what was going on at the time. And then obviously when we moved to Tuscaloosa in 1994, you have to bleed crimson or basically move. So
that's correct.
That's how that came about.
That's awesome. Well, thank you for your father's service to our country. We appreciate that.
Oh yeah.
Was it tough living the military life?
Yes and no. When you're a young kid, it's tough because it's hard to maintain friendships when you're moving every 3 years. You live somewhere for a few years, you make friends, become best friends with people, and then, your dad gets the papers. Hey, you're moving to such and such. Oh, okay, got to pack up, got to leave, and you just get used to it. The other side of that, we got to travel a lot, got to meet a lot of different people, and I think that's also how. Well, I know how social and friendly I am. Herb is another story.
You're definitely an extrovert and an introvert, so thank you for throwing that out.
It just kind of helped us. It helped us to learn how to make friendships easier. One thing we just noticed, and one thing we had in common was whenever we just went somewhere and we were, pretty decent at certain sports, we would play sports and make friends that way. So we had to learn how to maintain friendships as long as we could, but we got better at it over time.
One thing that he is missing here, though, one of us went through 5 different schools from 8th grade to 12th grade. And one of us had one school that they went to from 8th to 12th grade because their parents decided to retire and they kind of got into one system. So it was a little different at the end for both of us, but the experience itself was nice.
No, I truly appreciate it. Coming from a military family, my grandfather served 22 years in the Air Force, and I got uncles and greats and all that served in course wars. So no, I appreciate your father's sacrifice and service to this country. It's much appreciated.
Thank you, and same to y'all.
Yep, much appreciated. Of course, Rodg, this one's going to go to you to start off this wonderful show.
Are you ready, Rodg? Are you good?
Are you
turn my hat around? Yeah. I'm wearing my jersey.
Wow.
He knows where I'm coming. He knows where I'm coming from.
I wore the jersey because once I heard about the news earlier in the day, I was ready. Bring on the question.
Oh boy.
Jamie sounds so excited.
She's like, apparently there wasn't enough warnings for her about what was about to happen here.
I heard
Jamie,
something
what
about
I meant to say was, what I meant to say was, it's too late to leave. You got to stick this through now.
Right.
Well, technically, it's just her.
I think my internet connection is starting to go out.
Say, it's just her picture up there, so she can leave us at any moment and just pretend. Like...
I know.
No, I was there the whole time. I promise.
I was there.
Wow.
So Rodg, is LeBron James, of course, agreed earlier today, agreed to a 2-year, 97.1, I think is what it would finally end up being. Extension, of course, a player option for 24 and 25 or 24-25 season with the Lakers. What was your first reaction when you get that news? And this is kind of setting up for him to kind of play his final years before his son enters the NBA.
Right. I think you kind of led right into that. My first reaction was, I think it's all warranted based on how he's been playing, obviously, for the past darn near 20 years. He put up good numbers last year. Obviously, his health and his age are a concern. Even I can admit that. He'll be, 38 at the end of this year. But like you just mentioned, I think that's what he wants to do. He wants to stay in LA because outside of basketball, he's got the entertainment thing going and a million different other things going. But I think he really wants to stay there so that third-year option he can see where Bronny, his oldest son, is and say, okay, does he need another year in college, or is he going to come out after his first year of college? And then if he's a free agent during that third year, he could just say, okay, wherever Bronny gets drafted, if he wants to, he can just go play for that team for whatever amount of money they'll give him. And that might just be the end of his career, just playing that last year with his son. And then, of course, somewhere down the line, someone will make a movie about it. They'll make billions and billions of dollars because it's about LeBron, etc.
Where are you taking this question, man? Oh my God! Like, are you about to tell us about Bronny's kids?
We have father and son playing together.
Oh my goodness!
I guess this is the one question that I had to ask myself, and this is the question I have for you three as well: is LeBron going to win another ring?
No.
Don't wait. Let me finish the question.
I'm sorry. You can say, is he going to win another ring? Period. No.
He's going to win one more somehow.
No.
Okay.
Maybe in the Olympics.
No, he's finished.
No, I don't think he goes back to the Olympics either.
Yeah, I
I
don't
don't know that I see him. Gosh, I don't know. I don't know that I
Jamie.
see that happening.
Thank you.
Honestly, I don't know. And Herb, this is something that Herb and I had discussed like a while back. I even told him that he does win another ring. I just don't know if it's going to be in LA with the way the team's built up. I was really hoping this offseason that we're going through right now. I thought they were going to do something with Westbrook, but obviously it didn't happen. So
Yeah.
I kind of feel like they're going into next year saying, "Okay, guys, I'm sorry, we'll do better. We'll play better. We'll make it to the playoffs." But I don't know if it's going to happen with the NBA West looking the way it is. Like, there's so many other teams that I would just put before the Lakers, and I hate to say that, but
right. And one thing about the whole Lakers and Davis situation, and even now with Westbrook, they mortgaged their future to get the title that they got. So there is no reinforcements coming. There is no help coming.
That's
and
true.
To get off of Westbrook, they have to give up another future first. So I say if he wins another title, it's 100% not going to be in LA.
Right.
But what is he, just a mercenary at this point, just going to a team as a 40-year-old at the end of the bench, just to win another title?
A very healthy 40.
I won't ever be at the end of the bench, though. But I mean, maybe.
I will say
the fact that it's a question.
I think he would still get a significant amount of playing time even when he's 40. But I mean, to answer your question, I guess that's kind of what it's looking. When he's 40, he'll go play where he wants to play, and that's going to be wherever Bronny is at the time.
Yeah.
I will say this to Raj. I'm going to take that back. No, timeout.
Uh-oh.
LeBron will win one more ring.
Yes, I knew it.
I got a surprise for you. Hold on.
Oh Lord.
Oh, he just disappeared.
Yeah,
wow.
what?
I thought Jamie would be the person to do that.
I know.
So I'm a little surprised now.
It's like he says peace out.
What is
now,
going
when
on?
your host leaves, what, I've never seen this. This is unprecedented. What do you do now?
I don't know. I don't know what to do.
Maybe LeBron is calling Mike right now, and they're going to surprise me.
If Mike has a personal line to LeBron, why is he wasting his time with us?
Right. I mean, why is he wasting his time with any of us?
Yes.
No
exactly.
idea.
I wouldn't even, if LeBron called him and he left us all right now, I'd be okay with that. I'd say, well,
absolutely. I think we would all completely understand.
Yes, that would be justified.
Absolutely.
So then, Raj, I guess the question is what bench is he going to, or what? I guess as Jamie said, not to the end of the bench, but where is he going then to win this last title?
I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know what the draft is going to look like. I don't know when Bronny's going to come out. Honestly, if Bronny goes to college for a year, I don't think he's going to be the number one draft pick. I mean, he's got the last name. I get that, but
I saw his ranking. He's like a top 50, but he's not like a top 10 or anything.
Right. That's what I'm saying. It just depends on where he gets drafted at and who else is coming out at the same time. So I honestly don't know. But LeBron will be a free agent. He could just say, okay, this is where I'm going to sign.
Yeah, and LeBron being LeBron, I mean, you love him or hate him or whatever, he can do that. I mean, he can make those decisions. He can make those requests. He can,
right.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I'm not a huge look. I respect LeBron a lot as a man and as a person even. Yeah. Sometimes, and I was actually a LeBron fan when he was with the Heat. With D Wade and Bosch and Allen and all them. I don't know, just later on, especially after he won that last title in Cleveland and went to LA. Yeah. It's kind of, I don't know, him just going to LA just put kind of a bad kind of taste in my mouth. Yeah. And and then he just seems very soft of late. I'm like, dude, okay, first of all, you got poked in the eye. It's gonna be okay. You're not gonna lose your eye. I've seen girls die on balance beam and get back up and finish a beam routine. You're gonna make it.
Those are some real strong girls, though.
Yeah.
Is that your defense of LeBron, Raj? That's all
so
you
far,
have?
Yes.
Wow. If he goes to court, I hope you're not his lawyer, because in his defense, Your Honor, those are pretty strong girls. That's not holding up.
I will say one thing with LeBron moving teams, it does make it a little more difficult to defend him at times because I know what's coming our way. But I just think that I kind of feel like when he left Cleveland the second time, he was just kind of like, everybody else had left. Well, Kevin Love was still there, but Kevin Love was Kevin Love at the time. Kyrie had left, and he was just like, what else am I going to do here? And then when that game one of the finals.
But Raj, if you're LeBron James, other people leaving shouldn't affect you. You should be the one affecting other people.
Okay.
So you can't say, well, Kyrie left, so what am I going to do? Like, what is that?
No, this is just my opinion. But I think he looked at the team and he said, "Here, I still want to win a few more championships. What are my options? If he stays,
I don't have a supporting cast anymore.
Right. If I stay in Cleveland another year, what am I going to do? Is George Hill and J.R. Smith going to really help me to the finals? No,
because J.R. Smith is a legend. Didn't he get 4.0 in his first collegiate academics?
I don't even know what classes he was taking. Could have been PE and P2. I don't know.
Okay, guys. Raj.
Yes.
They're going to win a ring. Maybe 2.
Okay.
But I will say this. He will, in fact, wear another ring.
Oh, no.
But it won't be with LA.
Right. That's
Oklahoma City, bitches.
Oh, my God.
Okay, so here's why. Hear me out. He has much respect.
But Mike, I might need more alcohol before I hear this.
He has much respect for Sam Presti.
Okay.
In order for him, Oklahoma City has SGA, Josh Giddey, Chet Holmgren, and who knows by the time that all that rolls around.
Right.
Hear me out. What better way for Oklahoma City how to get? Now, obviously, it's not guaranteed. I get that, but what's the best way to get Bronny to? Okay, you continue to tank. You'll get LeBron and you'll get Bronny, which LeBron gives respect to Sam Presti. LeBron, even using a walker, we get a ring.
Okay. So are you saying basically for the next 1 or 2 years, OKC is just going to continue to tank until they can get? But see, they may not have to tank because, like I told Herb, I don't know where Bronny's going to be picked. I don't think he's going to be the #1 NBA pick. So
he's not.
I don't think he is.
And you never know, that may fall for the Thunder's choice. So I will say this: if it doesn't happen, then I guess I just look like a retard. But nonetheless, Oklahoma City, I'll put it that way.
Yeah. Okay. I can see that. I wonder.
Raj, you're just being nice because he's the host. You can't see that. You never would have thought that.
I mean, if it was OKC's pick, even if they still have Josh Giddey as a point guard, they could still say, you know what, we can just pick Bronny because we know Bron will come and that'll attract even more attention. So that could be their play. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what happens in the next 2 to 3 years.
No, it's going to be it'll be interesting. Now, whether or not it happens, who knows? But nonetheless, it was a cool joke. Speaking of rings, you guys are of course big Alabama fans. Jamie, I don't know if you know that or not, especially by Herb.
I mean, I couldn't tell at all.
Was that too subtle? Is that what was
I don't
going
know.
on?
I mean, I think he sort of looks like an LSU fan. I mean, I can't.
Oh, and just so you guys know,
I'm still not sure how you have 2 college football teams and 2 NFL teams. Like at least when Mike did his, it was an NBA team, a Major League Baseball team, an NFL team, and a college team.
So do you want to know this? Do you want to know like my reasoning behind it?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm obviously everybody's always curious about this, and I always have to explain it to people because apparently.
Well, Raj, do you know it's LSU and Nebraska are college teams?
Yeah,
I knew it was Nebraska. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, so I'm in Nebraska. So I'm born and raised in Nebraska. So obviously I'm a Husker fan. And then LSU was actually my grandmother's school. So my mom's family they're from Lafayette, and my grandmother went to school at LSU. So I've always been an LSU fan since I was a kid. I've always been a Nebraska fan since I was a kid. And then on the flip side, so the Packers, my favorite aunt and uncle live in Wisconsin. So I definitely, and obviously Nebraska doesn't have a professional team. So with us being so close to Kansas City, I've always followed and loved the Chiefs my whole life. So Packers and Chiefs have always been my teams. And I mean, I'm not talking, this has been since I was a kid. Like I could go back with histories. Like everybody's like, oh, you're just a Packers fan because of Aaron Rodgers. No.
Right.
No. I have been a Packers fan for a long time. Like I'm talking, somebody asked this question and it was a college football one, but they're like, what defensive player made you like that you remember like falling in love with as a kid? And for me, it was Reggie White.
Reggie White, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so and then you have Derek Thomas, on the flip side. So for Kansas City, I remember those guys like, and I'm a defensive girl. Like I loved good defenses, and so that's my story. It's just is what it is, I guess. But everybody's always like, you can't be both, Jamie. I'm like, I can be whatever I want to be.
Right.
These set up for some very easy 5 questions of death questions. So if she ever came on,
she will.
Here's one question: who's a better dancer?
I'm
gonna give you 4. I'm gonna give you 4 questions or 4 answers, 4 options. Okay. A better dancer. Chip Kelly recruiting videos.
Okay.
Him and his little, I don't know what he was doing.
Right.
Urban Meyer having his little stripper on his lap.
She was doing all the dancing though. Got to throw that out.
Yeah.
Exactly. Number 3, I'm sure Lane Kiffin dances somewhere.
Yeah.
Or Mike Gundy. Have you seen Mike Gundy's locker room videos in Oklahoma State?
I think I've only seen like one of them, but I don't remember him dancing too much.
Yeah.
He kind of gets low to the ground. It's Google Mike Gundy locker room dancer, something like that. Literally, he's like his butt's touching the ground. It's pretty impressive.
How did you not put Dabo Sweeney in this situation? Have y'all ever seen Dabo Sweeney try to do the gritty?
Yes.
Oh,
yeah, I did actually.
Yes.
Well, you can throw him in there as well, I'm sure.
I'm going Chip Kelly
in there as well too.
I was going to say Chip Kelly too.
I'm going Chip Kelly. He got it into a video, so the rest of these guys were amateurs. He was only professional. So I'm going Chip Kelly.
What made it even funny though? He actually lost a recruit though too.
I know.
Yeah. Well,
but he tried.
Where's that T-shirt? At least you tried. That's what we're getting on. So,
okay. Yes. We talked about participation trophies.
Yes. Right.
Yes. Well, that's what he gets in the participation trophy. I'm still going Chip Kelly though. He put it into a video. Not his fault. He lost the recruit. We'll blame somebody else on that. So
fair enough.
But no, back to some good stuff. Of course, Alabama. We all know that since what was it, 2014, when the college football playoff rolled out, 2015, something like that. They've been notorious favorites to win. Herb, your thoughts? What should be? I mean, obviously we know the expectations, but from your standpoint, what are we looking at when it comes to Alabama's expectations? Of course, losing, the national title game to Georgia last year. With Bryce Young back and the offense should be pretty good. What are we looking at for Alabama this year?
Well, so first off, we're Alabama fans. We're pretty arrogant and our expectations are high. So like last year was another lost year for us.
It was.
So it's pretty much you approach every year like title or bust.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's sad to say when you're in the middle of this culture, sometimes you look at the other fans and you go, really? Like last year was a really good year, but you'll be posting about it and talking about it. And if we don't win a national title, everybody's disappointed. So
yeah,
we're gonna be in the mix. The West is getting tougher, clearly. And I think Georgia is definitely coming out of the East. Yeah. So, I mean, your first goal is get to the SEC championship game. If both teams are undefeated, you're making the playoffs. If you have one loss like last year, your margin for error is gone. But I mean, it has to be championship or bust.
Yeah. I mean, every year when I look at our schedule, I always look at the schedule and say, I think we can go undefeated this year. And every once in a while it happens. Obviously, it didn't happen last year. I look at the schedule this year for this one, and I think we've got some good home games. The away games don't look too tough. The one at Ole Miss could kind of throw a wrench in there. But I think there's a possibility we could go undefeated. But if we lose the game, I still think we still make it to the playoffs because I don't think we're going to lose the SEC championship to Georgia. But again, if we play a bad game like we played in the Iron Bowl last year during the regular season, anybody could beat us. Anybody that we're playing could beat us if we play that bad.
Right. I don't think the gap is enough to where you can plug kind of what Rodg is saying. The gap is not enough to where you can bring your C game and get through the SEC West undefeated. So I think, and you're taking everybody's best shot. Yeah. So I think the team starts to play at a high level.
Yep. Yeah. Because you're Alabama. I mean, I lived that through the 90s with the Huskers. We had that same mentality. If we weren't winning national championships, it was a bad year.
Right.
So, I mean, I get that mentality completely. I hope one day we can be back on that level. or at least competing on that level again.
Yeah. College football is better when Nebraska and like all the old blue bloods are good. So
yeah.
Thank you.
You're not in the SEC, so I don't care if you guys get all of a sudden next year. I'm fine with that. So
Rod,
team I root against.
Rod, I got this directed towards you. I want to get your brains. So Herb, I don't know, you might have listened to it, but I wish I have to. One of these days, I have to get better at creating playbacks.
Okay.
So might have been. It's been a while. I think it was Tisha's first time on.
Okay.
I made a prediction. I want to get your guys. Rod, you're first. I had Arkansas upsetting Alabama in Fayetteville
in football
on October 1.
So, Mike, let me go ahead and just tell you
out.
something. Mike, let me go ahead and tell you something. You can say that next week Alabama was playing the Chiefs. And Raj and I will still pick Alabama. We will go and break the game down and tell you that the Chiefs have every single advantage and should win by 50. And you said who's going to win? We're both going to pick Alabama. So I can tell you where Raj is about to head with this. He's going to say something like, all respect to Arkansas. They gave us a good game last year, but no, I think we're winning. Go ahead, Raj.
Why would you do that to me? No, I think it kind of goes back to what I said earlier. Like, it just depends on the type of game that we play in Fayetteville that day. If we play a really, really bad game, if we're not sound on both sides of the ball, then Arkansas can win that game. Do I think Arkansas is going to win that game?
Yes.
No, sir, I do not. I think we'll be okay that game.
Yeah.
Arkansas is
I don't think
doomed
that
for
Arkansas has
upset
firepower.
in October.
Right. See. Thank you, Jamie.
Yeah.
I don't see it. I'm sorry if you're an Arkansas fan or whoever's an Arkansas fan. I just really don't think they're not there. They're just not there. Okay. They're just not. And maybe they will be with Pittman. Pittman's a great coach. I'm not taking anything.
I think he has them on a great track.
Yeah, I agree. Their trenches look great. It's just they just don't. And now they had Burks. He was great last year for them.
Mm-hmm.
And they had what was his name? KJ Jefferson.
Yep,
he's still there.
Yeah,
he's still there.
He's still there. Okay, so I wasn't 100% sure if he was still there. They've got some good talented players. They're not on Bama's level yet.
Yeah.
They're just not there yet.
I will say this: Arkansas wins because Texas exposes Alabama's defense.
You're hilarious.
Oh my God!
You're just going all over the
map.
Alabama will lose one game. I do not have them going undefeated.
Right.
Alabama will lose one game. It's either going to be in Austin or it's going to be in Fayetteville.
I think it would be, if that was to happen, I think it would be Fayetteville as opposed to Texas. I think the Texas-Alabama game is something that looks good on paper. You got two historic programs. It's going to be obviously a huge weekend of football, but I just don't think Texas is quite. It's going to take them a few years to get where they need to be. I actually had a prediction for the Alabama-Texas game. I have it 45-17. Alabama.
Yeah, Texas can't play with Alabama.
Yeah.
No. They've got too many
44-17.
injuries. They also have too many injuries going on, and players get in trouble. And it's a shit show right now.
Yeah, they just lost. Who did they lose? Like an offensive lineman and
Ajay Hall. Oh, your transfer. Yeah.
And
they suspended somebody who we kicked off the team.
Yeah.
So
that's the one that they got. Yes. Yeah. I would say if Alabama has a game that could be tricky, I would probably go
Ole Miss.
Yeah, I really would.
At Ole Miss.
That's what I'm looking at. That was a tricky game for you guys last year, and
actually last year we handled that one pretty well.
Not last year. Sorry.
Yeah.
A couple years.
In the past, though, yeah.
A couple of years ago,
definitely.
Yeah.
Lane is a great offensive mind, so he's always a little scary.
Yeah. I would say that one would be the one, and obviously, you can't. I hate to say this, but Texas A&M.
Because that one's at home, though, and the emotions going into it, I don't fear that one like I would.
That's right. You're at home
Right.
against Texas A&M. I can't see if these are away or home games on this.
So that's why I would not worry about that. Like, not that I'm dismissing it, but Mike is picking a good game at Arkansas and at Ole Miss are probably the bigger landmines.
But I mean, you got to look at Arkansas. At least you got to give him at least a chance in this one. Because I mean, if you look at years past, probably not the last, I don't know, probably 3 or 4 years prior to Pittman coming into Fayetteville or staying in Fayetteville, really taking over from the O-line to the head coach. But you look at Arkansas. I absolutely love Jefferson as at quarterback. You still got Raheem Sanders coming back in the backfield. I think Dominique Johnson's going to be back as well. And I think AJ Green or something like that. I think they got the backs, all 3 of them back. But you got the offensive line that if they can run, they got 4 to 5 back. You got that which will fit Pittman's mold in what he's trying to build. It may not happen, but you look at it, and I'm telling you, Fayetteville is a place I can't wait for OU to go to. But Fayetteville is a place in October. They're always doing. I don't know who Arkansas plays in October, so who knows? It may not be Alabama. It could be Kentucky or something. I don't know. But I'm telling you, that October month, it's always one major upset, and it would not surprise me if it's Arkansas beating Alabama.
We're not dismissed. Remember, last year at Alabama, we only beat them by 7, and that was a dogfight back and forth the whole game. So we're not dismissing Arkansas by any means. But like I said, if you present the question to us, will we predict an upset? No. So that's, I mean, like I said, you can pick the Packers or the Chiefs combined, and we're still making Alabama. That's how how we roll with it. So.
I got it. Austin Peay is gonna upset Alabama.
Now we're never talk to Jamie again for the rest of my life.
Well, Jamie's been dismissed.
Yes, well, that's you know what? Hey guys, it was a nice show. We've enjoyed it.
Herb's like, this show's stupid. I'm out of here.
No, I had to throw that in there. I had to take a little jab. No, I think Bama's set up. I think Bama's set up just fine. There'll be a couple of scares probably,
Definitely.
but I just they'll be fine, just like they always are. It's hard. It's hard because there's just too much. There's so much talent.
Exactly. It's spread out a lot more these days than it ever has been. So there was a time when you could count on the top programs getting everybody, and now it's Ole Miss killed the transfer portal this last time go around.
Yeah. And I'm just glancing at Arkansas' schedule now. I didn't know they opened up with Cincinnati. And then the week before they play us, huh?
I think they're Rod. I think they're a top 5 strength of schedule in the country, Ross.
Apparently so, because the week before they play us, they play A&M, and that's going to be here in Arlington. So, okay, I didn't realize that.
Did you know Nebraska had like the number 1 strength of schedule last year?
I did not
really.
know that.
Or maybe we were number 2. We were up there though. I mean, it was.
Well, because did you have Michigan and Ohio State?
Yeah.
You know what status?
I don't even know you're out of conference, but that'll already kill you.
We played a lot. Well, we played Oklahoma too.
Yeah, they played OU and Michigan State.
Oh, wow.
We played OU. We played Michigan. So I think and these games were all back to back.
Yeah.
Right.
OU, Michigan State, Ohio State. No, it was Michigan and then Ohio State, and then
Wisconsin.
Well, we played Iowa and Wisconsin, but I don't know that they were ranked super high.
But they're still top 25 though, so
that
was still get
brutal.
you. Yeah.
I'm looking at it now. Wisconsin was ranked 19th and Iowa was ranked 17th, but it's still a pretty rough schedule for last year, though. I didn't realize
it was brutal, man.
Well, let me ask this question then. I don't know. Am I allowed to ask questions?
Oh, absolutely.
Do you like Frost as a coach, and do you think he's got you headed in the right direction?
I do. I actually.
Mike is like, no. Mike, this question was for Jamie.
I know. I'm just shaking my head no.
I know how Mike feels about it. I do, and I think it's probably because I grew up here. I know the story. I know the history. I watched him as a player. I watched him go to Oregon, and then I watched him go to UCF and do all the great things that he did at both of those schools prior to coming to Nebraska. I just don't think he had the best supporting cast when he came to Nebraska into the Big Ten to be able to get the right recruits in to Lincoln. And honestly, we were so behind in recruiting and in strength and conditioning when Scott got here. I'm not surprised it's taken this long to turn it around. But you saw the turnaround last year. We didn't get blown out. Okay, we were in every single one of those games, and someone made stupid decisions at the worst possible time in a game, and we lost the game. Nobody beat. The thing is that nobody really beat us. We beat ourselves, and unfortunately, you have, as a coach, and I know this as a coach, it takes time to build a program. It takes time.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of, it takes a lot of going through really hard experiences to get the right people in the right place and get the kids with the right skills and to win championships, and you got to teach those kids along the way how to win, how to succeed, how to keep it going, in a positive direction and not let the negative stuff, outweigh that. And I see it. I think more than ever, I see it. And I love our new coaches on offense that we have. And our schedule is so much easier this year. I'd be shocked. I would be shocked if it wasn't far better.
But is this does this make? I mean, he's been there since 2018, which, like, in coaching ranks, is now an eternity,
like forever. Yeah. Yes. Well, he had a 7-year. See, people forget he had a 7-year contract, and his buyout is pretty substantial. Gotcha. So you've got to look at that, and having gone through COVID and not having fans and all that, that the university took a really big hit. So to pay a big buyout, they're trying not to do that. And the one thing that I have said all along is getting a new coach every 4 or 5 years is not doing Nebraska any good. Nebraska needs consistency, and they need somebody who knows the state, knows the university, and can keep that continuity going. And that's what we had. We had that with Devaney, then we had that with Osborne. And I think they should have stuck with Solich longer than they did. And
thank you very much. That was exactly what I was going to go into. No, I'm kind of glad that Nebraska's going through this mediocre, below average, probably 120th ranked team in the country, because they did Frank Solich wrong.
120th,
no, they did
120th out of 132.
We had it all set up. So last year, Frank Solich retired from Ohio. We had it all set up. We were going to honor Frank back. We were going to bring him back to Nebraska to link to Memorial Stadium, honor him, and we were going to sacrifice brown-haired Herbie because nobody likes brown-haired Herbie. He's not done us any good, and we were going to bring back blonde Herbie, and it was all going to be fine. And that didn't happen. And that's why we only won 3 games.
Yeah, but I just looked at the schedule again, the 2021 schedule, and you were right. Like, the biggest loss you had was by 8 points. All these other ones were like 3, 5, 7 points and really, really close games. So Nebraska was
I think on the other side of that, though, what was troubling was those are the same mistakes they've been making year after year. So I think that's what people were thinking.
I agree.
We're finally going to make some progress. So
I agree.
My concern, and the reason why I'm shaking my head no, is
no.
You look at Scott Frost, and really, even going back to his Central Florida days, which he doesn't claim a national championship. I'm sorry, you just don't.
No, that's
which, by the way, that's the only reason why I didn't like Frost. But go ahead.
Well, that was silly. That was silly.
Yeah.
No, you didn't get to hoist the little gold statue now. But no, I mean,
you put national championships like on the UCF stadium somewhere.
Yeah, it's sad.
Oh my god!
Did they really do that?
Yeah, it's actually on there. Yeah, it's 2017, like undefeated
Lord.
champion or something like that.
Yeah.
That's stupid.
Yeah, it was something ridiculous. No, it's actually a real thing. You should actually Google it. It's pretty embarrassing. But no, I mean, look at Scott Frost, and really, as a head coach, he's had 1 winning season, and well, that's really been that. And what concerns me for Nebraska, my dad's a Nebraska fan, but what concerns me for Nebraska, I got no hate towards him, really, truthfully, but is you got, I think in 2019, they were 5-7, 4-8, something like that. But they completely fell off the face of this earth. And granted, last year, hopefully this year, maybe, easier schedule this year, even though Purdue kind of has their number for some odd reason. But I don't know. Obviously, Jamie's closer to Nebraska than I am, and obviously I don't follow Nebraska remotely as close, but I don't know. I think I'm looking at where's the schedule at? I'm looking at the schedule right now. I think Northwest. I don't care if it's Dublin, Ireland, or over in Iraq. I don't think that game's really going to matter. North Dakota, they should take care of business, and Georgia Southern, they should take care of business. So they should go to Lincoln, playing Oklahoma as 3-0. That game really depends. I don't know out of Oklahoma what kind of OU team offensively we're going to get.
Yeah,
it's the latter part. It's the Wisconsin, the Michigan. I still got them winning a lot of games. I just think if Oklahoma, I still think if Nebraska falls, let's just say go 3-1 before theoretically resume conference play. I just don't know. I think if somehow Rutgers isn't going to, if Purdue were like a Illinois,
can you see the internal struggle Mike's having as he goes through that?
I see it. He's trying to be nice, and it's fine. You don't have to be nice to me.
I'm not trying to be nice and mean, but I just don't see Scott
I feel
Frost
like there's
making
two
it
people over in your seat, Mike, and they're like, yes, no, don't say that. Yes, say that. No, don't say that. I'm like,
well, I'm looking at the schedule. I'm like, okay, well, if he can survive, even if he loses OU, I'm thinking Indiana. Nope, he's not going to lose that one. Nope, not Rutgers. Purdue is possible. They're pretty good at home. Illinois, Coach Brett's going to get them going eventually. This last 4 games is really going. I think really theoretically, Minnesota, Michigan, Wisconsin, Iowa. I think it's really going to make or break his tenure in Nebraska.
Yeah,
I would agree with you. I would 110% agree with you. I don't disagree with that at all. It's just going to depend on what they look like towards the end of the season and what everybody else looks like towards the end of the season. You know, I'm hearing really strong things coming out of Michigan again.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Iowa's going to be good at all.
Okay.
I could be wrong, but Iowa's got some offensive issues right now, and they don't have a quarterback. They lost their running back. Like, I don't know. Their defense is obviously always going to be good, but their offense is a mess.
Kirk Ferentz, I'm surprised he's still there. He's been there forever.
Oh, he's not. He's never. Iowa will never fire Kirk.
Yeah, I think they sneak up with a good enough defense and a decent enough season every 2 to 3 seasons to where they're like, what's our ceiling really?
Right.
Which is
about 9 or 10 wins. Yeah.
You're Iowa.
Yeah, you're Iowa. So nobody's really looking. I mean, unless you're pilfering like a MAC school, I guess it's not really a jump.
Did you just say pilfering?
I think he said that. Yeah.
Wow.
That's pretty impressive.
That is highly impressive.
Yeah, I haven't even heard of that word.
That's the word of the day toilet paper that I've been using.
Pilfering.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
I like that.
So, but yeah, it is Iowa. So I don't really, they'll sneak up on you every once in a while, but there's no like sustained success coming from them.
Yeah.
No.
Yep.
But
that's my thoughts on Nebraska, and we'll see what happens.
She didn't even mention Martinez being gone in Nebraska stuff, so that was.
I don't really care. That's not
Jamie
really
doesn't
bad.
season.
I don't. Okay, don't discredit. Like, obviously, Martinez is a great kid.
Wow.
He's a good human being. It's just it was hard to watch the decisions that he made last year that cost us games. And I'm not saying it was all on him. It's not all on him. And there's some of it's on the coaching staff as well. It's just that he just made some really stupid mistakes at key points, and
would agree.
It just killed us. So I think it was time for everybody to move on in all actuality. And I'm happy with the guys that we have down in Lincoln, and I think they're pushing each other, and that's what they needed. So I think that's where it stems from. I think you get better quarterback play. And I mean, I'm not going to lie, our wide receiver situation wasn't good last year. I mean, we had Torrey, who was fantastic, but other than that, it was just very, very inconsistent from a lot of people. So that didn't help the situation. But I mean, he would miss wide open receivers all the time. So, at some point, you got to be like, okay, it's time to move on.
You're not good at this.
Yeah. He got injured midway through his sophomore season, and he just hasn't been the same since then. So, is what it is.
We'll see what happens.
I know, right? Like,
Yeah.
No, that's his catchphrase.
That's
We're
one
gonna
of my-
get him a T-shirt, so that's why he's smiling right now.
We're
We'll
gonna
see
create
what
a
happens.
T-shirt with him
We'll see what
saying it.
happens. He ends all our phone calls with that.
We got to get a T-shirt. I want to put my face on it, just smiling and say, "We'll see what happens."
Oh Lord.
I love it. I love it.
Go. Well, I can literally see your face, Raj. What's going to happen is this: you're going to have probably somewhere. Well, I'm not sure. You can't really see, but you're going to have a halfway on your shirt, him smiling with a little quote text on the side with a bubble inside of it. We'll see what happens.
We'll see what
And
happens.
on the bottom, it says Herb Rodg Podcast.
Yeah.
I'm in.
Yeah.
We'll make this happen.
Oh my goodness.
Merchandise.
Merch.
I'd
You know
buy it.
what's
buy
funny?
it.
Uh-oh.
I'd
First
buy
customer.
it.
Oh wow. Okay.
She's saying that on air, but afterwards she's gonna be like, "Y'all give me a free one, right?"
I know.
I never expect anything for free. I know how hard people work. Like, I don't know.
So you're saying the fictional T-shirts we just made up, you don't want a free one?
Well, no, I'd take a free one, but I wouldn't expect it to be free. Like, I would expect to pay for it if I wanted it.
Okay. Let me see if I can increase that retail.
There's nothing in life that's free, guys, except for kindness. That is free.
Oh, mine costs money.
Jamie, just so you know, these two do have a production meeting coming up, and that will be addressed is merch.
Yes.
I love it.
No. Going back to Alabama, what's more realistic? I know, Herb, you mentioned it when I was on a few days ago, is what's more realistic? When you look at 2022, when it comes to a statement, and then Raj, I'll get your answer following Herb. What's more realistic if you look at the 22 schedule? It's Texas A&M defeating Alabama, or Auburn upsets Alabama and Tuscaloosa?
Texas A&M. I mean, if I have to choose from those two.
Right.
Yeah.
But like I said, I mean, because going back, I would still put the meter higher on Arkansas or Ole Miss getting them instead of those two teams. Texas A&M, I mean, I guess going with Ole Miss, they just tried to get rid of their coach. They always play Alabama tough, but it is in Tuscaloosa. Both those games you mentioned are in Tuscaloosa. So I think that's where the edge will definitely beat Alabama, not even just going into talent. So if you gave me those two games, I'm going to say Texas A&M, but only because you're forcing me to pick between those two. Yeah. But and Texas A&M, I think the talent gap between A&M and Auburn right now is huge, especially even before the recruiting class coming in. Yeah. I still go Texas A&M, but Auburn, I mean, they were terrible, not even just SEC rankings, but nationally, right? And they tried to kick their coach off vacation so they could fire him. So it's too much turmoil, too much going on. And last I read, they're going with TJ Finley again at quarterback. Like that was a disaster.
Wow.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That was a disaster. So
I was just about to
disaster.
And I was just about to say it's an interesting question because the quarterback that beat us last year, A&M, Calzone, who I call Calzone, is now at Auburn. And you would just think based off how Finley played last year that he would get the start. And just, I mean, I don't know what their practices have looked like. I don't know what the scrimmages look like. I don't know who really looks better on the team over there at Auburn.
Apparently, they're not practicing if that's the choice.
Calzada is terrible. Who was the guy that played on one leg that like?
That was Calzada.
Was that Calzada?
Finley got hurt too, man.
Are you talking about for Texas A&M? That was Calzada that was limping around out there. But he had one great game last year, and that's what he kind of built.
Calzada's terrible. Finley's terrible too. They're both terrible.
They both are. I feel like if I had one, both good knees, I could go out there left-handed and still beat either one of those guys out for a quarterback position.
I don't doubt that.
Yeah. So I don't fear either one of those two.
Play, yeah.
And I agree 100% with what Herb says. To answer your question, Mike, I would have to go with A&M as well. I just feel like Herb mentioned, the talent gap is there. And then when you just look at overall recruiting, you look at where A&M is and how well they did this past year. And I don't even know who Auburn did actually recruit this past year or if they had anybody go to their draft. I just don't really see any bright spots.
You don't even know if they have a team. That's how bad this is. Is Auburn still playing football?
Right. And I mean, I don't know any bright spots on their offense or their defense. And I just
that's hilarious.
I hate to say it, and I'm not saying it because I'm just so anti-Auburn.
Either, so that's
exactly that was another
that's
thing.
A problem.
Yeah. Right. But then when you just look at with the way both teams are made up and the trajectory of where each team is going, I would have to say A&M would be the upset that would be more realistic.
Right.
Yeah.
I would agree with you.
Of course, the NIL and the transfer portal being a big conversation in college football. What are your guys' thoughts on the transfer portal when it comes to literally, it went from if you transfer, you sat out, you lost a year of eligibility if it was within the FBS range or the Division 1A at the time. What's your guys' thoughts on this now being literally, if I, kind of like what Lincoln Riley did, use the transfer portal literally to his advantage and could successfully have a great year this year, which I could see that out in SoCal. What's your guys' thoughts on the transfer portal? Is it good or bad for college football?
Herb, you don't mind if I go first, do you?
Is that a question or a statement?
I think
was there a period at the end of that?
I think
Raj, I don't mind. Go ahead.
I think it has its good and its bad, its pros and its cons, but overall, I think it's good for college football because it gives players that aren't making it somewhere a second chance. The caveat though is that just because a player transfers to another school does not automatically mean that they're going to flourish and start at the new school. There's certain instances that come to mind, but I guess Jalen Hurts, for example, he sat out that 1 year, or didn't sit out. He backed up to it that 1 year at Alabama, and we appreciate him for it. And he's always going to be an Alabama Crimson Tide guy for us. Mm-hmm. But then he took his last year. He went to OU. He shined. And now he's doing really, really well in the NFL. I hope he has a good year with the Eagles. But like I said, I overall I think it's good. I just don't like seeing players transfer and then they go to a new school and they just don't start and they sit there and then they're sitting there wondering like what's going to happen. Another case you might want to look at is Quinn Ewers. He's at Texas now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't know. I honestly don't know if he's going to be the starter or not, or if it's going to be him or Hudson Card. I'm not sure if they've even announced that yet. But you look at who Texas recruited for quarterback next year with Arch Manning. What's going to happen to Quinn Ewers? Is he going to have a really good year this year? And is he really going to start over Arch Manning next year? Or is Arch Manning going to get the nod? You just never know what's going to happen when you transfer. It's always a big risk. And I think wherever you go and wherever you play, you have to give 110% in practice and in all games and just, let the chips fall.
I heard that I thought Card was getting the start.
Really?
Oh, wow.
I thought so. I thought I saw somewhere on some Texas.
Which wouldn't surprise me.
No, it wouldn't.
You should have the upper hand there too. Anyway,
somebody was making fun of it, like, "Ha ha, you lost out to Hudson Card or something."
I know,
right?
But
well, when Jalen Rodg, because you mentioned Jalen Hurts, and I should have looked this up, but we had 3 or 4 quarterbacks like transfer when Hurts became the starting quarterback, and none of those guys had successful careers. But then you kind of look on the flip side with Hurts and like Justin Fields going to Ohio State. Like there's a lot of, even Russell Wilson, I guess you could go if you wanted to go way back. There's a lot of guys that have that high profile guys that have had success. I think ultimately it's going to be good for the kids. Now I do think a lot of them are making snap judgments when they do it, because you look at Mac Jones, who was here 3 years and only started in his last year and still made good on it. So there is good precedent for sitting behind somebody and learning and playing. Yeah. But, the kids, the coaches can move anytime, because you mentioned Lincoln Riley. Mm-hmm. He recruits a lot of kids and then he leaves. Should they all be stuck in that situation where, they have personal relationships with these coaches, Even Tua's younger brother ended up in Maryland, because Locksley went up there. So it's, I think it's good for them because if you're going to treat this like a business and the coaches can do whatever, you can't let 18 and 19-year-olds be locked into one decision for the next 3 or 4 years. Yeah. So do I like it all the time? Of course not. As fans, we want to see a guy commit to your school, but that's just not the case.
Right.
It's just not the landscape of college football anymore, unfortunately.
Exactly. Yep.
Kind of is what it is, especially when you start talking grad transfers and all that other stuff.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Which has become a huge thing.
Yep. Oh, Landon Dickerson, that was one of our best ones. And I think that was his final year.
Yep.
So, and that was just our most recent, I think. So, no, it's the kids are trying to do what's best for them. And if you're treating it like a business, if you transfer to another school that was better, I don't know, in accounting and graduated in that and got a great job, people would, nobody would look twice. But it's like when it's on college football and you're saying, I'm trying to transfer to another place that gives me a better shot at the NFL, all of a sudden we look down on it. Like, you have to look at both of them the same. So,
Yep.
So, Jamie, I know one thing you do not know that I do know that is Rodg.
Uh-oh.
His favorite team has your former wide receiver in Tyreek Hill.
Oh, he's a Dolphins fan.
A Dolphins fan, yes.
I was trying to follow all that. Like, what is
I know.
Because he's a big-time Chiefs fan.
No, I mean, obviously, I wish Tyreek Hill nothing but the best. He gave his heart and soul to Chiefs Kingdom for many, 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 many years, and we'll always be grateful for him. And honestly, I don't mind him going to Miami. It's not, it's not like a huge divisional rival or anything.
She says they don't respect you, Rodg. That's what she's saying. She was trying to be nice about it, but she's like, it's Miami.
I mean, I hope that I really, really want to see Tua turn it around and be healthy. And I do want, there's something about the Dolphins that I really enjoyed last year. And I just felt like they just couldn't almost get out of their own way at times. And it was a little frustrating. It was a little frustrating to watch because there's a lot of talent on that team, and there still is.
Yeah.
Especially now with, you've also got, Chase Edmonds there now from Arizona.
Yeah.
So that's another dimension they didn't have. And, we'll see. I think, didn't I kind of pick Miami as my sleeper?
Mm-hmm.
The other
To win
day?
the Super Bowl?
No.
No. To make sorry.
Jamie, you have to watch what you say, Jim.
No.
What are you trying to do to this poor boy?
Oh, I was so excited.
Oh my God, he got up out of
but
his
I
seat.
did say that they could be asleep. Like they could really make they could surprise some people this year and make make that kind of run. I mean,
They
you
might
never
win
know.
a couple games.
Cincinnati. Look what Cincinnati did last year. Nobody thought Cincinnati was there yet, but look what they did. They almost went and won a Super Bowl. I mean, so you just never know. The NFL, you just really never know. Unless the Detroit Lions, and then there's absolutely no hope you're ever going to be a good football team. And I'm so sorry to say that. But
when Jameson Williams got drafted to Detroit, Herb and I were like, oh, man.
Oh, right. I know. I felt so bad. I was like, no.
Happy that he got drafted.
My tweet after that happened was I would drag out my rehab for like 3 or 4 years. If
Can you imagine being Jared Goff? You get traded. You're in the Los Angeles Rams where you have the beautiful weather and everything, and then you're going to Detroit. You're like, wow.
And they win a Super Bowl with you gone.
Yes.
I know. And the next year,
I burned that stadium to the ground. I ain't gonna lie.
It's brutal. So yeah, I did. That's my sleeper, kind of my sleeper.
Yeah. Team. I think Miami has a good chance to win 10, maybe even 11 games. And I've already told her and Mike this, but I want them to get that wild card spot in the playoffs. And
yeah.
They're not gonna, like I said, we're not gonna beat Buffalo. We're not on that tier yet. But I think we can get the second spot in the AFC East. And
so, Rodg, that first playoff game when you guys are playing Kansas City, who's winning that game?
Miami.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
I like his confidence. I respect.
I like to stir up trouble.
I respect that. However,
I got to go to the friend.
I don't know. I don't know what to make of the Chiefs. I really, there's so many new pieces this year.
Both sides of the ball.
Yeah, it's hard to know what's really gonna happen. And we've had some injury issues the past couple days, the Chiefs have. And I'm not really sure. I'm not feeling super great going into the first game of the season, but we still have Patrick Mahomes, still have Andy Reid, we still have Eric Bieniemy, we still, have Spags. Like, I have faith that everything will be okay. It just might start a little rough. It might start a little rough, though. It would not surprise me to start rough.
Okay.
Are you a Bieniemy fan?
Well, that's kind of hard to answer. So he was like,
these are not ringing endorsements by any means.
Colorado, and I hate Colorado with a passion, being a Husker fan. So with that piece of it, I didn't really, but I think he's a brilliant play designer, play caller. I just there are some, I guess, off the field or relationship issues with him that I will never say I'm not a Bieniemy fan. I just there are some questionable things that kind of
got him fired. It seemed like.
Yeah, I mean,
or
it was.
Go, I guess,
it didn't look very good, and it now knowing kind of all of that happened more behind the scenes that has come out or come to light, it kind of makes sense why he hasn't gotten a head coaching job now. Right. Everybody's always been like, why isn't he a head coach? Why isn't he a head coach? Well, now kind of knowing all of that, you do kind of understand maybe why that hasn't happened for him yet. So, and maybe you never know. I told people this all along, maybe he is the guy when Andy Reid actually retires. You never know. You just never know what the plans may be behind the scenes. So it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see the next few years what happens. But I have faith in the Chiefs organization. Their management is very good. And I trust them more so than I trust the Packers organization. They haven't done terrible
shot at this other team.
I wonder how much longer Aaron Rodgers.
They let Devontae go, which I understand Devontae wanted to leave. I get that too.
Mm-hmm.
But that hurt. That hurt a lot.
Yeah.
Not having a guy
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Not having a guy to replace a Devontae caliber. Yeah. There's let's be honest. There's not really Devontae caliber athletes out there.
Right.
But that hurt.
Right.
That hurt.
And thinking that you can just plug in the next guy for a guy like Devontae is bad thinking to me. But.
Yeah.
Alan Lazard is not Devontae.
No.
Alan Lazard is not Devontae Adams. Nope. I'm not sure. I'm not sure anybody's Devontae Adams, but Devontae Adams wasn't Devontae Adams.
True.
You just and is Devontae. I mean, okay, look, I have absolute faith Devontae Adams will still do wonderful things with the Raiders, but will he be as good without Aaron Rodgers? Who knows? We don't. I mean, his skill set's still there. Don't get me wrong, but him and Aaron worked on that for so long and so many years, and that just doesn't. And I understand Carr was his college quarterback, but that was college. This is the pro.
Years ago.
That was a while back. Yeah.
This is a different situation. It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see the Tyreek situation. It'll be interesting to see the Devontae situation. Interesting to see how that plays out. I don't know if I feel super confident about drafting them in my fantasy league, but I might.
Week 8, there's going to be a 2 a.m. text conversation between Rodgers and Adams, and it's going to go, I miss you. I miss you too. That's how that's going to go. I guarantee it.
Yeah, so
as we wind down the show, I got a good little trying to find this breaking news from Notre Dame. While I'm trying to scroll through. No, so I'm going to ask you guys, and Jamie, you're welcome to border. So they did the 5. What was your question? What would you call it? The 5 questions?
The 5 questions of death, a.k.a. we still need a sponsor.
Right.
So I'm going to ask you 5 questions. I got to think of a good name for it. But man, I wish I could find this one. But anyway, so who's closest to winning? Here we go. So breaking news before I announce the question. 5-star edge Keon Keeley has decommitted from Notre Dame. He's the 6'5", 242 edge from Tampa, Florida. He is ranked as the 3rd best player in the country and the number 1 edge, and he's back on the market. He has decommitted from Notre Dame.
Because there's a possibility he can come to us.
Did you even know who he was when you started reading that?
Yes, actually I did.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Felt like it was a question that needed to be asked.
No, I had heard.
Are you wanting us to pilfer him from Notre Dame? Oh gosh, that word.
Oh gosh, that word. I had heard the rumors. Are you wanting us to pilfer him from Notre Dame? Oh gosh, that word. I had heard the rumors.
Are you wanting us to pilfer him from Notre Dame? Oh gosh, that word. Are you wanting us to pilfer him from Notre Dame?
Oh gosh, that word. No, I had heard rumors that he was going to be decommitting. Like I saw something about that. I just didn't know if it was true or not. But Mike just made the announcement, so I guess he's back out there, and maybe he'll come to Tuscaloosa.
Maybe he'll come to Norman. He'll have the best defensive coach to coach him.
Maybe he'll go to Georgia.
Maybe he'll go to Iowa.
Why would you even say that, Jamie? Everyone else is repping their team, and you're like, way to go to Georgia. What was that?
I like to ruffle feathers. That's part of my existence.
Wow, she did not even say, hey, you want to come to Nebraska? Huh?
What?
Where's Keon Keeley from? You said Tampa?
Tampa. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Look, I'm a realist, okay?
Maybe I'll go to Miami. How about that, then?
Ew, gross. Please don't go to Miami. If you're listening to this, guy, don't go.
I know, right?
I would
hey,
love
Keon,
for,
come to Norman.
For his new announcement for this to be the deciding factor. Yes, I was tuning into the Air Raid podcast. They were saying all this stuff. I was thinking Miami, and then the girl in there says ew, and I was like, oh, maybe I don't want to go to Miami. So I would love it.
Hey, you never know.
Yeah, I'm
What
down.
Influence.
I am down.
I could be that person. Probably not. Okay, but but seriously, nobody should ever want to go to Miami.
Hey, I'm fine with that.
It's a terrible school, terrible people, terrible fans. Okay, I'm gonna stop.
Someone's been traumatized. Like, somebody give Jamie a hug.
I think she's still I still think she's reliving those bad dreams when Miami racked up a ton of points in the national title game against Eric Crouch in Nebraska.
Okay, first of all, Miami would have kicked the shit out of whoever they played.
Oh, wow!
Like, that team was ridiculous. Like if you're talking about the amount of NFL talent that was on the field during that football game, insanity.
It was insane, yep.
Insanity. So honestly, I believe that wholeheartedly. I think anybody would have gotten the shit kicked out of them that played that team that year.
Won't be sending this link to mom to listen to, by the way.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry, Mama. I'm sorry.
Jamie dropping the S-bomb.
I'm sorry. I apologize.
Sometimes it's all good.
Something and then that
well, there goes our listenership for this week.
I have no money to pay any fines, just so
right, exactly.
I'd be broke.
Oh, ain't that the truth?
My bad, guys. My bad.
No, I get working here, so I'm really broke. So
yeah, I gotta give me a second job.
I get it.
No, you're good.
That's too funny. My bad, guys.
So I don't know who. We'll figure something out. How name it? Who's closest? And this is kind of, I don't know, maybe make no sense, but maybe who's closest to winning a championship? The Texas Longhorns or the New York Knicks?
LeBron.
Longhorns. Wow. Did you say LeBron?
LeBron.
Wait. The New York Knicks are the long.
Who's closest to winning a championship?
The Texas signed what was at the time like the number one recruit in the country, and the Knicks just got Brunson or whatever from Dallas as their big thing, and they're trying to Texas. They got not even close.
They got.
I don't think that the Knicks have an overall plan.
I was gonna say I didn't even know they still played basketball there. So
you have to put basketball in quotes when you say it's New York. So
yeah, I know.
Basketball. So they're hopeful.
Ish.
So,
ish.
So I would say Texas.
Yeah, I guess so. It's still a funny question because both teams are so far away.
Exactly. It makes you really think they're so horrible.
But yeah, I would just go with Texas because New York is just way, way, way too far. Who do they have? Brunson, Obi Toppin. Don't forget about Obi Toppin and Julius Randle.
And RJ Barrett. So they have a team that's probably good enough to get the 7th or 8th seed for a couple years.
Maybe get to the first round. That's about it. Yeah, but as far as winning a national championship, I guess it'll be interesting, like Herb said, to see what Texas builds on with Arch Manning and to see if even if they get more recruits to follow, some tight ends, some wide receivers, some offensive line to just follow Arch and see how that goes. I don't know how good Arch Manning is, and I know I'm going way off subject here.
But we're used to it.
I don't know if it's just the last name or I don't know if he's really, really that good, but like I said,
I think anybody under Sark is, did you just go with and I walked over.
What happened?
I'm so sorry. I think anybody under Sark is going to look good on offense. I think he's that good of an offensive mind. So,
the thing with Texas is Steve Sarkisian, if he can be successful if he stays away from the liquor.
Oh wow, yeah.
I still think he would have done something out at USC had he.
We gave him bottles on the sideline for when he was calling plays, so we didn't mind.
And speaking of liquor, Brian Denny did get approved for a liquor license.
Yep.
Oh,
Lord,
Yep.
Because that's what you need in the South is more of a
I was
strong
just saying,
Exactly.
So you don't understand. It's the South. We have nothing else to do. We got football and we got alcohol.
When you're in Tuscaloosa and football, like college football is like not in season, you're just like staring at each other like, what are we supposed to do today?
I live in Omaha, Nebraska. I get it.
Oh yeah. So,
I just didn't. I knew that, but I didn't want to insult Nebraska.
Right.
We were feeling that.
There's a lot of corn.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of in the cornfield, I guess. Pluck some corn. Jesus, I'm gonna lose my Nebraska corn.
Yes.
Well, you lost.
There's probably somebody waiting at your door right now. Like we.
I know.
Oh my god.
There goes the sponsorship.
What's gonna happen?
The thing is, I detasseled corn during when I was younger, which I think everybody should have to do to respect where corn comes from and how much work goes into it. But harvest the corn.
You can see the exact moment when the podcast went downhill.
I know.
And currently, about 10 seconds, here comes the government. Big Brother has listened.
I just epically failed on so many levels this evening.
In the background, you're gonna hear these older gentlemen. Are you Jamie? Yeah. Then we know what happens after that. She goes silent.
I am. I think. No. She's not here. She left. She's out.
Oh, we'll lie for you. I'll be like, Jamie, never heard of her.
I don't know that chick. I don't know her. I don't know who you're talking about.
We got your back, even if we're shaking our head like this.
Thank you. I appreciate that. A lot of people just shake their head at me and laugh.
So this is nothing new.
I don't blame them.
Question number 2. How long will it take until Lincoln Riley wins his first national championship as head coach and, of course, at USC?
I don't think he will.
Ooh.
I honestly don't think he will. I think over the next few years he'll build up the program and they might get to a spot where they're in the college football playoff, but I just don't see him winning a national championship there.
I would say it's not going to be before 5 or 6 years. So maybe year 7 to 10.
Will he be there that long?
I think he'll be there. That's a place he wanted to go. They're going to the Big Ten, so I don't think he would, jump out on that move because there's nowhere else to run. He's good enough on offense and will get good enough athletes there to kind of replicate what he had at Oklahoma. So going to the Big Ten I'm putting my timeline at 7 to 10, but I guess that puts him in the middle of the Big Ten. So maybe he needs to win in the next 2 or 3 years, I guess, to really get something. I don't know, but I don't think it's happening. I guess with Rodg said, I'm not putting it like in the next 5 years.
Yeah.
What do you think, Jamie?
Going into the Big Ten, seeing where USC has been of late, I think that's a tall ask. I think it's going to take at least probably 7 to 10 years to really get to that type of level. I agree with you. I don't see it turning that fast going into a new conference. It just doesn't work that way. And the problem is you also have to be able to play defense in the Big Ten. And if you can't stop anybody, you're not going to win football games. So until he proves to me he can do that, I don't see it. I don't see it.
His path to at least getting to the playoffs was much easier if they stayed in the Pac-12, 14.
Oh, 100%. He could have run the Pac-12 for sure.
Oh, yeah.
I don't doubt that. He could have definitely been in a national playoff situation staying in the Pac-12 at USC. Yep. But not going into the Big Ten. No. Nope.
Well, I'm going to keep my opinion to myself.
Wait, what?
I have them winning next year.
Oh!
Winning what next year?
The national championship.
What?
In what sport?
Football, dude.
Oh, okay. I felt like there's some clarification needed. That's all. I want to make sure if we're going on record.
Hear me out. So
if they win the volleyball championship next year, I don't want you to come back and go, see, I told you.
And it's always those Southern Cal schools winning.
It is, yeah.
Well, yeah, because all you have out there is the beach. So you're like every other class, you're out there playing volleyball. So yeah, I could believe that.
So I don't know what the schedule is for next year. I know next year it is next year that they're going for the Big Ten, right?
I don't know.
I don't know I don't think that's been decided yet.
No, it has been decided because they timed it to when their contract was running out. So I want to say like 2024 or something like that. That's the reason why for the decision being made at this point was so there was no like exit fees or anything like that.
That's my that would be my I could see 2024 being.
Yeah, it is 2024.
Okay.
So let's real quick. So next year's schedule should be pretty set in stone for them then. So you look at next year, and obviously home and away series hasn't really been set up yet. Still, no, they got the non-conference. So look at non-conference wise, they don't play nobody, which is not surprising.
They do go to Notre Dame. Is that what we're looking at?
They do go to Notre Dame next year.
So that's a loss.
But you look at the Pac-12. Nobody in there scares me, and Utah's going to lose. Here's why, and the thing, and he'll win. And if he doesn't win in 23, which I think he will, he'll win in 24 or 25 when he goes to the Big Ten. The Big Ten's more of the ground and pound mentality. They're going to run the ball, Wisconsin mainly, but they're going to run the ball and pretty much wear you out at the offense at the line of scrimmage. His thing is, I'm going to spread you out, and you got to pretty much catch us if you can, type thing with the speed.
Right.
If he can, if Lincoln Riley, and I'll say this on here, and people can laugh, comment, whatever is cool. Lincoln Riley will win not just one, but he'll win multiple national championships at USC simply because LA is going to give him the better recruiting ground than he had in Norman. And I think he's going to win multiple if he gets a defensive coordinator. That's the name of the game. If he can get a defensive coordinator, he might have something going at USC.
Although I don't agree with you, I do think it will be exciting to see USC coming back to like national prominence. Though it's always good when you have those teams from something like the Pac-12 and the Big Ten or whatever doing pretty good. Especially someone like Texas, if they can finally get back up there where they used to be, I think it'll be much better than for college football as a whole.
College football is better when Nebraska, Miami, USC, Notre Dame, Alabama, Southern Cal, the old school teams are really good. Yep. The OUs. I mean, when the old school teams are good, that's when college football is the best. Obviously, it's nice to see the Clemsons of the world come out, which I ain't gonna lie. I thought Dabo was gonna suck. I'm just gonna throw that out there. I'm like, oh, you brought Dabo, which nobody knew anything about, but look what he's done. So
yeah.
But no, those I agree. I think those old school teams, it's better when those teams are good. So. All right, switch the gears. Brent Venables, how long will it take for him to win a national championship?
Never.
Yeah.
Wow.
All right, well, exclamation point out of this.
I mean, his ask to me is just even tougher, you know?
Absolutely.
He's coming in the offensive conference. He's a defensive coach. They're about to move to the SEC. The West is already it's like the conference is already preparing for, Oklahoma and Texas.
Yeah.
And with them losing Lincoln Riley, it seems like they're already behind the 8 ball and trying to recover from that. So I mean, it's a tough ask for them.
And how long is everyone in Oklahoma going to be able to be patient waiting for him to do that too? That's another question. But I just don't see that happening at all.
He'll get fired before it happens.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard going into the SEC like that because you've got some big time coaches in the SEC.
Just the SEC West. I mean,
and just the West alone is just insane. It's crazy. It's hard. That's going to be hard because you have to knock off. You got to knock off the Kings that have run college football for the past 20 years. I mean.
And then to kind of to your point, when you were mentioning USC as an offensive team going into a defensive conference and a different style, like, Alabama has kind of handled Oklahoma style in the past, and they're an offensive team, but the conference is getting more offensive. I don't know if that's a positive or negative, but the offenses are getting better in the SEC. So it's not like you're going to be light years ahead, like you're thinking, USC going to the Big Ten. So that's just it. And it looks like Texas is already starting to lap you a little bit.
Yep.
In that regard. So.
Yep.
Yeah, I would.
Why don't you tell us what you think, Mike? Because we're just sitting here bashing. Like, I feel like we're losing all hope for you.
No, I do think. I don't think
he's never going to have us back on, Raj.
No, I like what Oklahoma's doing in recruiting. Finally getting that top 10 spot. I think they're at 7 if you go according to 24/7 Sports, and of course some polls at 5. Whatever, rankings mean nothing if you can't produce them on the field. But in Texas, I know they're of course in the top 3 simply because of Arch Manning. I get that, which I still think he decommits. My thing with Brent, and I think it's going to come down to, well, Jeff Luby's got to perform himself, but as I mentioned on your guys' show, I like the hire and I didn't like the hire. I do not like connections. I don't like connections. Scott Frost, i.e. example. Yeah. Connections to universities always fail. I've seen it. I know high schools aren't, really a fair adjustment, but you really see a lot in college. Oklahoma, I don't know if this thing's going to work out with Brent. I like the hires because it's Brent. Who doesn't like Brent? But I just don't like connections. And that's why I was really hoping for Dan Lanning out of Georgia simply because of that. But maybe he got it. I mean, obviously he's getting the stadium improved. I mean, that's, I guess, a plus. But I don't know. We'll see. I think he's got to continue to recruit. My concern is I don't want him to be that coach that worries about the defense all the time, and that's all you're going to get is, well, they can stop somebody, but they can't score. So we'll see. I think Brent does eventually win one. How far down the road? I don't know. It's going to be at least 5, at least. But we'll see. We'll see what Brent Venables does in Norman, but I just hope this one ain't going to bite OU because it's a crucial hire, just like, and Nebraska's kind of, this could be, and I think I told my dad this last year prior when Brent was hired last December. This hire with Brent Venables is going to be the next Nebraska 2.0 if they don't watch themselves. This program's going to go from the very top, and you're going to be laughable and no disrespect to Nebraska, but you're going to be like, oh, that's funny. They can't win 4 games. I mean, that's kind of where you're at. I mean, this could be real bad for Oklahoma if they don't watch.
I was waiting for the little circle.
So much love.
I was like, here comes the circle. Uh-oh.
Yeah, this could be real bad for OU. This could be unfortunately, this could be Nebraska all over again. You go to a new conference.
You just said like Jeff Blake or something. Like, why you gotta go hating on Nebraska? Like,
my point is, Barry Switzer appointed Blake as a head coach. That fell drastically and really, really bad.
That was terrible. It was awful.
And then kind of resemblance of Bob. He obviously recommends Brent, and Brent got the job. And I'm thinking, well, if you look at the thing, this could get real bad. Frank Solich, I don't think should have been fired. Whatever year that was, but obviously Lincoln wasn't fired. But it kind of puts in similarities as if Nebraska don't watch, or Nebraska, if OU doesn't watch themselves, this could really be a Nebraska, and it could be really bad because going to a tougher conference, this may set them back literally 10 to 20 years, and this could be real bad real quick.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree. I don't disagree. I mean, Alabama was there at one point too. Mm-hmm. Like I feel every program has gone through it, right. And you just, like you say though, but it's better when the storied programs are good. Yeah. More people tune in, more people care. It gives more disparity in college football. It makes the game more interesting, for fans and, everybody. So, like I say, I hope, I want college football to thrive, and for that to happen, people like us got to keep, rooting for our teams and supporting the teams, and universities have to keep investing in their programs at the end of the day. So that's all we can hope for. And, if your team sucks, well, then I guess go cheer for another team.
Hey, we got here during really bad. We got here in '94, so it was really bad.
It was bad.
For a while, so it was. We
Well,
understand all that and the highs and lows for sure.
Yeah, we went through that, and then we went through those bad years was Dubose and Franchione and Price, and then Shula.
Yeah, people who didn't even get to coach a game.
Franchione, I forgot all about that. Oh Lord,
it was rough.
It was rough.
Yep.
Yeah, it was rough.
So, final question of the night is this one.
Your enthusiasm is.
I love it.
I'm wondering if his question is going to be similar to my last question or not.
Oh.
Depends how you look at it. Oh, that question. I forgot about that one.
What are we talking about?
The loyalty one.
The question was.
Oh.
So Herb asked a question to Raj and I. If you were on a podcast making millions upon millions.
Oh crap.
Exactly.
Okay, and I'm on a podcast and making millions upon millions of dollars.
However, the catch is before you sign this multi-million-dollar contract, you have to completely stop not only rooting for your favorite teams, but you can't watch them. You got to remove all of your T-shirts, memorabilia, et cetera, et cetera. You have no connection, no nothing to your favorite teams. Would you do it? I said no because that's too much loyalty to me. And Raj said practically, and he said the same thing.
Oh, I don't think I could, guys. How many millions of dollars are we talking?
He said millions upon millions. That's
Herb. Give an amount, Herb. How many?
Are we talking
a million a year for 5 years?
$1 million a year for how many years?
For 5
years.
Oh fuck no. Shoot, no. I didn't say that word. No, absolutely.
Mom, we're so sorry, Mom.
So, Amy, what is enough?
I'm sorry.
Would you have a price range?
Yeah, like what is enough?
Oh, you'd have to be close to triple digits for me to be able to do something like that. That'd be hard to do.
Yeah,
it'd be hard to do.
Yeah, they both said no. So
yeah, I don't think I could. No. Mm-mm. Nope.
That was a question he was talking about. I'm glad you brought that up because I forget about it, but that was a great one.
That's a good question.
So on each other's, you guys obviously got your own answers. In each other's respective conference, give me your predictions for 22 for your conference winner, dark horse in your conference, and then who, in your opinion, wins the national championship. Well, probably I got 2 guys. We already know who's going to win the national championship.
Basically, like we would both pick.
We're gonna go SEC champion Alabama, national champion Alabama, and what was the last one? Dark horse to win the
horse.
So we asked a similar question to this. Like if it wasn't, and I think like for this question, if you take out Alabama,
because I think that question was Final Four.
Yeah,
I
think we said maybe Arkansas versus Kentucky.
Yeah,
might be the 2 teams that I would pick if it wasn't Alabama versus Georgia. So those qualify as dark horses to me.
I might pick Tennessee out, but maybe other than Kentucky, because remember I picked Tennessee to beat Georgia this year.
And then if you want to go outside of the conference, I still like Utah.
So make it to the playoff or win a national championship.
If I had to pick, let's say, so if you're picking, like we're not going Alabama. And I think you have to ignore like Ohio State and Georgia because those are the trendy picks. Like,
of course,
who is your number 4 if you're going to go with the dark horse? I kind of like the Utah pick, or maybe Clemson, I guess, even though I don't like that pick.
Yeah, I'll go with Utah too. That's who I picked as my 4th team in the playoffs. So
yeah. Now watch, Utah's going to go 6-6 just because we did this.
Oh wow!
Probably we jinxed them. Nah, I like Utah. I like that team. I really like that team.
Yeah.
Well, I liked watching them last year. They were fun. They're fun to watch.
Yeah. Their problem last year was like the San Diego State games. It wasn't like the Big Pac-12 games. Or did they go to Oregon State, I think?
I think it was Oregon State.
It wasn't any of the good teams that they had to worry about,
No, because they hadn't figured out how to be the team yet.
Right.
They hadn't figured out, oh, hey, we can't just like putts around.
Yep. Because you have a target on your back and you have to bring it every game.
So. Yeah, and now I think they've learned that. So, I could see. Yeah, I like Utah as a dark horse. I definitely do. Big Ten. It's hard to see anybody
Other than Ohio State, basically.
Yeah, it's hard. I
don't think Michigan is going to beat Ohio State again.
I don't think that's going to happen. I think Michigan will be a good team again this year, but I don't see. I just think there's just so much talent at Ohio State, and especially now that like Jim Knowles is there on defense, I just think it's going to be a different feel. This season. I can't see anybody else but Ohio State being the team.
Now, if you make them go 6-6 now, I would be happy with that.
Oh, that'd be hilarious.
There would be a lot of people happy with that.
That would be freaking hilarious.
Like half my Twitter will be mad at me because they're all like Ohio State fans. Because we had this alliance thing during 2020 with Nebraska and Ohio State because we wanted to play football, and apparently nobody in the Big Ten wanted to play football, which is weird, but. So we made this like huge alliance with Ohio State fans. So I have a lot of Ohio State fans that I follow me, and they're good people, honestly. Like the guys that I follow and the girls that I follow, I love them. I love them to death.
I will say this, especially after Alabama won that one, there was no like the bitterness that you see from, especially in our conference, if you lose a game here, you hate the other, it was just like, there was just a lot of respect, and I went and watched a lot of videos of Ohio State reactions, and they're just like, we lost to a better team, and it is what it is, So I have a lot of respect for Ohio State.
Yeah, very realistic fan base. Obviously, like they're very passionate about their football team, but they're very football savvy people. They understand football. They understand how the game works. They understand getting beat by a better team.
I'm cold.
You're cold? Aw, he's got his binky.
Yeah, smile.
But Herb, night. He's going night. It's past
Herb will be the first guest to fall asleep.
You know what? It's past my bedtime too, actually. But
somebody passed me my Alabama pillow.
Yeah. As far as dark horse, Utah's probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would go with that.
I'm actually going to watch like a decent amount of Pac-12 games this year. Like I normally don't because they come on late here.
I was just going to say you'll be asleep before half of those games.
I know.
Oh, you know who was so fun to watch? I don't know how good they're going to be this year, but BYU was fun to watch last year, you guys.
Because especially as an independent, they're going out and they're like a Notre Dame schedule. Let's just play everybody.
Yeah. They were fun to watch. And so who did they? Oh, wasn't it Oklahoma? Who did they pick up like last minute? Somebody canceled. Somebody had COVID issues, and they pulled out like right before, like a couple days before the game, and somebody came in. Oh, who was that? BYU was one of the teams. I just can't remember who.
Baylor? Because they played Baylor.
No, I don't think that was who it was, though.
Oh, wow.
BYU's got a rough schedule this year, though.
I was just about to say they play Baylor, then Oregon, then they have Notre Dame, Arkansas. Wow.
Ugh.
Yeah. They're trying to get killed out there, but it definitely makes them a fun team to watch.
Yeah, only LeBron could save them.
Oh, stop.
Oh. Sorry, I had to throw it in. It's been an hour and a half. So
Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness! Yeah, the LeBron watch continues.
The LeBron watch will not end until he retires. Then I might retire it a little bit.
Yeah.
No, I think the Big 12. I think it's Baylor's to win. I think dark horses. If the pieces fall into their favor, I think Kansas State could be a team. I think Oklahoma could be. Texas can be if the pieces fall, in place. I think everybody else is up for grabs after that. But
I thought Baylor lost a lot from their team, though. Am I wrong with that one?
No, you're not wrong. They lost Bohannon, didn't they? Didn't they? Yeah, that's a big. The guy that came in and played for him though was good. Like I can't think of what his name was, but he did a great job for them actually when Bohannon got injured. But defensively, I think they also lost him.
Right. I think that's where a lot of their losses were.
Yeah,
so that's a tough one.
But you never know. Aranda does a great job of developing guys too. So defensively, you just, it's kind of funny. This is going to sound really bad, but if the worst happened was Frost, Aranda was the guy I want. Like Aranda's the guy that I wanted, and I kind of wanted him to be LSU's coach too. I just wasn't sure he was quite ready. And there was a lot of stuff that went down. Yeah. Unfortunately, when O and Aranda were there, not that Aranda was involved in, but just the being around the program at the time when that stuff happened, I think is why they didn't go that route. But Aranda's a hell of a football coach. So yeah, we'll see what happens, in the coming years. But
an hour ago she loved Frost, and then we got to the point where he's being fired and we're replacing him. It's cool. Don't think we didn't notice. That's all I'm saying. Don't think we didn't notice.
Look, I'm a realist, okay? I try to be realistic about stuff. I try not to be a fan who's all like, oh, Frost can do no wrong, or the blah blah can do no wrong. I don't work that way in life. So
Jamie is the sneak out the bathroom window in the middle of a date kind of person.
Yeah, she is. I can see that.
Yeah, I am.
I can see that easily. Well, for any guys out there listening, just don't pick her up for the date.
I have a programmed situation with my friends.
Oh, wow.
Well, on that note, we're going to end it right there before Jamie's love life completely goes non-existent.
Oh, it's already non-existent.
Oh, wow. This show's going to make me cry. Let me grab one of my Alabama tissues.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a fun show. Herb and Rodg, it's been a pleasure having you guys on, and you guys are always welcome back. I assure you at that one, even though.
Thank y'all for having me.
Oh, absolutely.
Appreciate you guys.
Yeah, you guys are awesome. It was a good time.
Let us know how the production management meeting goes and how the merch ideas go, and we'll be your first buyers.
Yeah, appreciate that. All proceeds go to me as the older brother. Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
And there goes the meeting.
First meeting over.
Meeting in history.
Yes.
And whatever you guys do not let your mother listen
to it. We appreciate it.
Yes. Well, yeah. Mom will not like Jamie. We can't let her listen to.
And Herb and Rodg, where can they all find you at?
Married though, right? So I wasn't trying to impress Mom. So.
Oh, they're married? F those guys. Thank you,
I don't need to impress her Mom. It's cool. No, I'm kidding. No, I really do. I apologize.
No,
it's fine. It's fine. She's heard words from Rodg.
If people wanted to follow Herb and I on Instagram, we're on Herb and Rodg Podcast. Twitter, Herb, what is it on Twitter? What's the follow on Twitter?
Isn't it at her?
I need to get on Twitter personally myself, but I'm not right now. So
get on it.
I will. But it's Herb and Rodg Podcast on Instagram. My personal Instagram is Marcel81. That's MARCELL 81. Herb, Twitter.
Oh, at Rodg_Herb is our Twitter, and then also you can find me at Herb Ragsdale. So we post on both of those. Both the links are always out there for all our stuff, and then you can go to our Anchor link and find us everywhere. We do Apple Podcasts. Thanks to Mike kind of schooling us. We were stuck on one platform until we met Mike, so he let us out of the desert a little bit. So
hey, I like your guys' intro and outro songs, by the way. Music.
Well, the last one, yes, that was our last production meeting. Was picking those. So we actually do get some work done every once in a while.
We do.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
we need an intro and an outro song. We got to get on that.
I'm going to text you tomorrow. I'm not going to do it now. It's late. I'm going to text you where you got your songs at.
Okay. I'll send you the link. I'll send you the link.
You guys have a wonderful rest of your day and what's left of your day. And then have a wonderful rest of your week.
Y'all too.
Thank y'all both.
All right,
you guys are listening to the Air Raid Attack Podcast. Have a wonderful rest of your Wednesday or whatever day you're listening to. And enjoy the rest of your week. Take care.
All right.
Bye.
Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.